If you've ever looked at your credit card balances and wondered, how did I get here? This story is for you, not because you're irresponsible, not because you don't work hard, but because thousands of good people slowly find themselves buried under debt. One small decision at a time. Today, I want you to meet someone. His name is Marcus. And if we're being honest, Marcus could be you. One evening, Marcus sat down at his kitchen table with his laptop. For the first time in a long time, he decided to stop avoiding the numbers. He logged into one credit card, then another, then another. Every account showed another balance, another monthly payment, another reminder of how overwhelming things had become. Finally, he opened a spreadsheet, typed in every balance, then hit enter. $31,400. Marcus just stared at the screen. For 2 years, he'd been avoiding that number, but avoiding it had never made it any smaller. As I watched Marcus's story unfold, I realized something. He didn't end up here because of one terrible decision. It was 100 ordinary ones. A birthday dinner that went on a credit card, a car repair he wasn't prepared for, buying something because the rewards points made it feel like a good deal, telling himself, it's just this once. By themselves, none of those purchases seemed like a big deal. Together, they became a wall that felt impossible to climb. Marcus opened his credit score app. His utilization flashed across the screen, 94%. That's when reality really hit. His credit cards weren't just costing him interest. His high utilization was pulling down his credit score, making it even harder to qualify for better rates that could actually help him get out of debt. He slowly closed his laptop, rubbed his face, and sat there in complete silence. Just then, his phone buzzed. A text from one of his closest friends. You good? You seemed off at dinner? For the first time, he realized the hardest part wasn't the debt. It was finally admitting he needed a plan. Marcus stared at the text message for a few minutes. Then he finally replied, honestly, I'm drowning in debt. A few days later, the two of them met for coffee. Marcus expected a lecture. Instead, his friend smiled. Man, I was exactly where you are 2 years ago. Marcus looked surprised. His friend continued, this isn't about being bad with money. It's about not having a plan. Once I had a plan, everything started to change. Marcus pulled out his phone and downloaded a budgeting app. For the first time, he decided to give every dollar a job, not just guess where his money was going. Actually, no. When he got home, he grabbed a whiteboard and started writing income, rent, car payment, insurance, groceries, subscriptions, credit cards. Then at the very bottom, he wrote the total amount of debt and circled it in red. It wasn't easy to look at, but for the first time, the numbers weren't controlling him anymore. He was finally looking them in the eye. Then Marcus started searching for the leaks. A gym membership he hadn't used in months, 3 streaming services he barely watched, food delivery that had quietly become a weekly habit, coffee runs, impulse purchases, little expenses that didn't seem like much until they added up month after month. One by one, he started cutting them, not because those things were the problem, but because every dollar he saved was another dollar that could attack his debt. A few nights later, instead of ordering takeout, Marcus cooked dinner at home. It wasn't fancy, but neither was becoming debt-free. And that's when Marcus realized something I'll never forget. Cutting expenses wasn't the plan. It was simply the first step of the plan. The next morning, Marcus stopped asking himself how he got into debt and started asking himself how he was going to get out. The first thing we attacked was the interest, because as long as high interest was eating up his payments, it would always feel like he was running in place. Marcus applied for a 0% APR balance transfer credit card. A few minutes later, he was approved. He transferred his highest interest credit card balances onto the new card. For the first time in years, every extra dollar he paid was going toward his actual balance instead of disappearing into interest charges. Next, Marcus looked at another payment that was quietly draining his budget every month, his car. He gathered his paperwork, picked up the phone, and called his lender. After reviewing his account, the representative came back with some good news. We can refinance your loan at a lower interest rate. That'll save you about $160 every month. $160 may not sound life-changing, but Marcus knew better. That's another $160 every single month attacking his debt instead of paying unnecessary interest. Then Marcus made a decision most people aren't willing to make. He got a second job. Some evenings, he stocked shelves. Other nights, he delivered food after work. He was tired, some days exhausted, but every extra paycheck had a purpose. It didn't go toward new clothes or eating out or upgrading his lifestyle. Every extra dollar went straight toward his balance transfer card. Little by little, the debt started shrinking. On the whiteboard hanging in his apartment, the numbers finally started moving in the right direction. $31,400 became $24,800. Then Marcus looked at another number that had quietly been changing, his credit utilization. 94% became 61%. For the first time in a long time, his credit score wasn't working against him anymore. It was slowly beginning to work for him. As I watched Marcus erase those old numbers from the whiteboard, I realized something. None of these changes were exciting. A second job isn't exciting. Cooking at home isn't exciting. Refinancing a car isn't exciting. But freedom isn't built from exciting decisions, it's built from consistent ones. And every week, Marcus looked a little less like someone drowning in debt and a little more like someone taking control of his future. Just when it finally felt like Marcus was getting ahead, life happened. One afternoon, as he was driving home from work, his car started making a strange noise. He turned down the radio, listened. Then the car came to a stop. Marcus sat there with both hands on the steering wheel, didn't say a word. After everything he'd been doing, the extra job, the long hours, the budgeting, the debt payments, now this. A repair bill was the last thing he needed. As I watched Marcus sitting there, I couldn't help but think how many financial plans fall apart the very first time life gets expensive. The old Marcus would have done exactly what he'd always done, pulled out a credit card, swiped it, and promised himself he'd figure it out later. But this wasn't the old Marcus anymore. When he got home, he opened his budget, scrolled down to a category he almost forgot was there: emergency fund. It wasn't a huge amount. It wasn't enough to buy a new car, but it was enough to cover the repair, enough to keep the debt payoff plan moving, enough to avoid adding another dollar to his credit card balances. The next morning, Marcus paid the mechanic in cash. As he drove away, he couldn't stop smiling, not because he enjoyed spending the money, but because for the first time in years, an emergency didn't become new debt. That's when Marcus realized something I hope you'll remember. The goal was never just to pay off credit cards. The goal was to stop depending on them every time life happened. A few days later, he walked back into his apartment, looked at the whiteboard, and smiled. The debt total was still going down. The plan hadn't been interrupted. It had been tested. And for the very first time, the plan had passed. 6 months later, Marcus found himself sitting in the exact same chair at the exact same kitchen table, the same laptop, the same whiteboard, the same apartment. But this time, everything felt different. He picked up the marker, walked over to the whiteboard, and updated the numbers one more time. The balance that once felt impossible had fallen from $31,400 to just $9,200. Then he smiled, not because he was debt-free, not yet, but because for the very first time, he knew exactly when he would be. 6 more months. That's all that stood between Marcus and a completely different financial future. As I watched Marcus standing there, I realized something. When debt finally has a finish line, your mind starts thinking beyond survival. It starts thinking about the future. Marcus walked back to his laptop, logged into his employee benefits portal, and found something he'd ignored for years: his company's 401k match, free money he'd been walking away from simply because he didn't have a plan. He clicked enroll, selected VOO as his investment: simple, diversified, steady, not because it was exciting, but because building wealth usually isn't. It's about consistency. Then Marcus opened an IRA. He set up automatic contributions for the future. He made himself one promise: once the debt was gone, the money that had been going toward credit cards would never disappear into a bigger lifestyle. It would go straight into building wealth, the same investment, the same plan, month after month, year after year. As I watched Marcus close his laptop, I realized this story had quietly stopped being about getting out of debt. Now, it was about becoming a millionaire by retirement, not by chasing the next hot investment, not by trying to get rich overnight, but by staying consistent. One contribution, one paycheck, 1 month at a time, because getting out of debt changes your present, but investing consistently can change your entire future. A few days later, Marcus stood in front of the same whiteboard that once overwhelmed him. Only now, it looked completely different. At the top of one side, it read, debt-free, 3 months on the other side. Retirement, on track. He stood there for a moment, just taking it all in. Then he picked up his phone and called the same friend who had convinced him to make a budget. So, how's it going? Marcus looked back at the whiteboard. I'm not there yet, but I know exactly when I'll be debt-free. And after that, I'm building something that actually grows. There was a short pause. Then his friend laughed. That's the whole point, man. It's not about becoming rich today. It's about getting yourself on the right track. As I listened to their conversation, I couldn't help but think how different Marcus sounded. 6 months earlier, he didn't know where his money was going. Now, he knew exactly where every dollar would go. Marcus sat back in his chair and looked at the whiteboard one last time. The remaining debt, his retirement contributions, VOO circled twice, 2 months until debt-free. Decades of investing ahead of him. Then he smiled. because for the first time in years, he wasn't guessing anymore. He wasn't hoping anymore. He had a budget, he had a payoff date, he had an investment plan, and he had a future that looked completely different than the one he was living just a few months earlier. That's when I realized getting out of debt wasn't Marcus' biggest victory. His biggest victory was becoming the kind of person who had a plan. Because debt-free people don't become wealthy by accident. They become wealthy by continuing the habits that got them out of debt in the first place. One paycheck, one investment, one decision at a time. As Marcus stands in front of the whiteboard one last time, I want you to remember something. This story wasn't really about Marcus. It was about everyone who's working hard, making payments, trying to get ahead, but feeling like they're running in place. If that's you, don't give up before you build a plan. Start by creating a real budget. Know where every dollar comes from and where every dollar goes. Cut the expenses that are quietly stealing your future. If you're paying high interest, see if a 0% APR balance transfer could help you pay down your debt faster. If your car payment is too high, look into refinancing. Sometimes saving even a little every month can make a big difference over time. Once you're out of debt, don't stop there. Take advantage of your company's 401k match. It's free money. Then work toward maxing out your IRA each year. Keep it simple. Invest consistently in a low-cost fund like VOO and let time do the heavy lifting. As Marcus looks at his whiteboard, the screen slowly fades to black. If Marcus's story encouraged you today, subscribe so you don't miss the next journey in this series. Leave a comment and tell me what financial goal you're working toward. Is it becoming debt-free, buying your first home, building your emergency fund, or investing for retirement? I'd love to hear your story. And if you need help creating a plan to improve your credit and your finances, check out the resources linked in the description. Remember, your debt may be part of your story. It doesn't have to be the ending.